Hey, you there! Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Noxus map generator, maybe also known as the Noxus plane setup. But let's take a look at our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the northwestern side of the map, ending with Team 2 in the southeastern side. Starting off with Team 1, let's do Eastern player and go towards the more concentrated side. We have in Batman Gray, it is Rokem Inc. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1400 to his west. We have in lightest red pink, it is the Cybern of Mas Mori. He is an 1800. The other pink player for Team 1, we have in Barbie Pink, it is Wi-Fi. He's playing as an Aeon. He is a 2300. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. To his southwest, we have in Royal Blue, it is the UEF of Kinder 5129 as a UEF. And riding out the front line in Stitch Blue, it is Dorset playing as a Seraphim as a 1300. And last but not least for Team 1, we have in Orange Color Orange, it is Ringo playing as a Cybern as a 1500. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have a UEF, they have 2 Cyberns, 2 Aeons, and 1 Seraphim. So all of the factions on Team 1 side of the map. Taking a look at Team 2 Southwestern player, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue, it is Zigster. He's playing as a UEF as a 1400 to his east, and Ruby Red is the Seraphim of RNA. He is a 1900. In Pac-Man Yellow to his east, we have It's a Me Glummo. He's playing as a Cybern as a 2100, the highest rated player on Team 2. To his northeast in Amethyst Purple, it is Fong playing as an Aeon as a 1700, and rounding out the front line in Rust, it is Zerbi the 7th, or Zerbi VII, or Zerbi for short. He is a Seraphim, again in Rust, as a 1300. And rounding out Team 2, we have in Forest Green, of course, the best color. No biases here, of course, it is Vi Adam. He is an Aeon as a 1600. So for Team 2 side of the map, in terms of faction makeup, they also have 1 UEF. They have 1 Cybern, 2 Aeon, and 2 Seraphim. So the difference between Team 2 and Team 1 is Team 2 has 2 Seraphim and 1 Cybern. Team 1 has 2 Cyberns and 1 Seraphim. But each team has all of the factions available to them. And for these 12 players on the map, let's take a look at their reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 10,000 mass in reclaim, which isn't really a whole lot. It's less than 1,000 mass per player, which is a little disappointing. But the map does make up for it in at least a decent way in the mechs count. It is definitely spread out, but there's a chunky amount of mechs in the middle of the map. We also see 2 Trimex positions mixed in there as well. We'll take a look at Team 2 side of the map. We do see that there's 1, 2, 3, we'll count this one, 4, 5, 6, because he's there, Trimex positions for Team 2 to grab. So each player has at least 1 Trimex. There's also a Trimex back here. And I think that's pretty much about it in terms of the clumpage. Again, lots of mexes dotted in the middle of the map. Definitely going to be a bed of contentions there. There are one-offs dotted on the western and eastern sides as well. But again, the majority of the additional concentrated mexes are going to be in the middle of the map. We do see movement outbound from, I'd say, about half or so of the players in the game. We have Team 1's Brigadier slot player of Ringo staying in base, as well as Masmori and Wi-Fi. Team 2, we do see Zigster in his base, and that is it. So everybody else on Team 2 moving in some degree. Team 1 on the front line, we have Dorset on the west. He's going to be facing off against Zigster. More towards the middle of the map, we have Kinder. He's going to be facing off against RNA. Potentially It's a Me, and maybe Vi if he heads in that direction. Team 2 on the eastern side will be facing off against Rokem Inc., and Zerbi's going to be on that side. Then we have Fong. Maybe he'll go west, maybe he'll go east, maybe he'll just go northwest. Who knows? But we'll see what direction he ends up going. We do see some movement outbound now from Masmori, so now 4 of the 6 players have left their main bases for Team 1. And again, a very interesting setup in this map. It's, somewhat of a typical southeast versus northwest, or, corner versus corner, but we have a little bit of kind of stretching out of that main base territory. This is Team 1's, and this is, Team 2. So realistically, there's going to be definitely a lot of engagements between the eastern and western edges. And speaking of engagements, Team 2 and Team 1 have traded blows between Rokem of Team 1 and Zerby of Team 2. Looks like it's just one-sided for now. But those are definitely shots traded between those players. Gun started for Fong. Behind him, he might go assist that northeastern edge and maybe try to not intentionally, but try to collapse that entire corner and then push a western direction. That might be similar to what Team 1's up to on the western side, but forcing another lane or another side of engagement's definitely going to hurt long term. We do see Fong is done with the range. Maybe he'll go for sensor, maybe he'll go for speed, maybe he'll just go for shield. Who knows? Team 1 on the western front, not really pushing in to Zixter's position, but it's roughly about dead even in terms of how far these players have pushed forward. We do see more shots traded between Zerby and Rokem. In terms of hit points on board, Team 2 Zerby does have a little bit of advantage with 500 additional, but again, that isn't really a big deal considering if shots are traded between themselves evenly, one's going to blow up the other, and that's going to be the end of the day. Their gun started for Team 1's Massmori, gun started for Team 2's Zerby. I'm assuming gun will be started for soon for Rokem on the eastern side. Gun started for Team 1's Dorset, gun started for Team 2's Zixter. Any more guns? Any takers? No? Okay. In the middle of the map, we do see, again, those two players from Team 2, It's a Me and Vine, moving to the middle of the map. Kinder is spamming up a ton of Team 1 facilities. We do see RNA is inbound. Some Team 1 has been, or PD has been, thought about, not built just yet. There's 3 players for Team 2 here versus only 1 from Team 1. Definite advantage for Team 2 there. And he's going to get pushed out eventually. Again, in terms of the impediments on the map, there's tiny little corners with some mountains and whatnot. But for the most part, it's essentially a flat map. I think there's a little bit of hills, as you can see, but they're not super tall. So it's just a flat, plains Neuroxis map, which is one of the reasons why I called it that. A while back, a couple of viewers made the comment that it's just plains, but it's Neuroxis, so it's just kind of it's a green, and it's plains because it's kind of flat and there's no impediments or anything. So basically it's just a super flat map from Minecraft would be an example. RNA going after Kinder's comm. Kinder does get that Team 1 PD online. It goes after It's a Me, targeting the weaker of the hit point players. We do see Vi is inbound again. The air player being decently far forward isn't super rare, but probably shouldn't stay there too much longer. Again, Kinder is going to be outnumbered 3-1. Team 2 focusing mainly on the infrastructure, and Team 1's Kinder focusing on the comm, at least partially, as he runs out of other things to shoot at. Western side, we have Gun v Gun soon to start engaging. And then in the northeast, we do see now Zerby has a gun, assisted by Fong, who has a gun, who has Team 1's Massmori with a gun, and Rokem to deal with. And Kinder is being pushed out. RNA is in the yellow, but he is staying for now. Kinder's now in the yellow. And Adams over here, just a little bit east of that overcharge. Don't know where that was going. Maybe it was a unit that was sneaking by Team 1 PD trying to be rebuilt. But again, it's 3v1, and good luck staying there long term. It's or even short term. It's just not going to work. We do see Wi-Fi's inbound to assist. It's going to make it a 2v3. But again, it's not really going to matter at this point. Most of the facilities have been not dealt with, but they've taken significant damage, as well as all their assisting mexes being taken out. Bombers inbound, helping to thin those hit points out a little bit. A little bit of AoE to go after a couple of those facilities at the same time. And looks like not even one facility dead yet, but Kinder again pushing in again. Probably not the best idea. He's been 3v1 for a while now, and he's almost dropped into the red. He is almost at 1-star vet, which is maybe what he was trying to go for, but he's not going to be successful in grabbing that western side. Those players not engaging. Northeastern side, we do see that Zerby's pushing in again, still in the yellow. Needs to be careful because he's taking a lot of fur fire unnecessarily. He's almost at 1-star vet. He's dropped in the red. Oh, 1,700 hit points, 1,500. We gotta move. That's a lot of hit points to just lose off of Team 1 mobile artillery. And you're keeping a track of the comm. Oh, 700. Oh. He's almost dead, but he makes it out of there. Ooh, he's like, ooh, I got out of there. Ooh, that was close. Kinder is still kicking. He's in the yellow. He's at 1-star vet, so he did get that veterancy he wanted, but Zerby took a huge risk. We do see some forces on the eastern side for Team 1's Rokem. Had they maybe tried to engage the comm of not tried. If they did engage the comm of Zerby, he would have died because he had no hit points left. He had double-digit hit points, so not really a lot to his name there. And ooh, that was that did not look good. But hey, he survived, so that's what matters, right? I wanted to keep my little cursor on the comm just in case he died, but he didn't. But he's trying to get some hit points back. He's going to get 2,000 from this. That'll help keep him alive a little bit longer. He is getting some PD to help assist and just get a little bit more breathing room from not only for his, for himself and his comm, but also for Fong, who's pushing him with a range upgrade as we speak. No speed, no sensor package yet, but he is pushing in at least with some sort of gun to keep Team 1's other labs and other units at bay. And you just spam or whatnot. We do see some mobile artillery inbound from Team 2's RNA going after the remaining facilities for Team 1's Kinder. He did stay there as long as he could. He's getting a backup facility up online now. T2PD to assist with defenses there. But he's lost control of the middle, at least partial control of the middle, and Team 2 is getting the lion's share, at least of the mechs is there. Western side, we do see a little bit more pushback from Zixter. He is in the yellow, same with Dorset. Overcharge kills off a nice little Tham there. He is at 1-star vets. Almost same for Dorset. He's almost at that 1-star vet. So players are getting their veterancy started. And it looks like some comment has been made by Vi that he was returning home, giving a large little arrow message saying, hey, by the way, I'm going home. And so nice little use of the drawing there. Rokum holding out with a speed upgrade. Will be outranged by the range upgrade for Fong. But I wouldn't be surprised if range is built soon for Team 1. Mosmoy not really pushing in. He probably could have tried to go after Zerby's comm, but didn't want to push in and maybe get counterattacked. But, ooh, TML takes a nice little PD out. Looks like maybe he's going to build another TML. Nano repair started for Zerby. Definitely going to watch out for the missile launcher nearby. It's a mobile one, so it's not a stationary one. That'd be a worse concern. Fong going for shield. Gun started for Kinder. T2 started for RNA. Just solidify control of the middle of the map. So Team 2, getting a little bit more of pushing in the middle of the map. And it's pretty much holding for the most part strong in the northeastern and western sides for Team 1 and Team 2. 12 minutes on the clock. Team 1 is losing the reclaim game. Not reclaim, but eco game. Almost 100 mass a second. So it's probably about 12 to 13 mass a second per player. If I can do math in my head. Yeah, it's about that. It's more, maybe about 15 or so. But we do see, again, 2 comms in the east. Rooted to the spot on upgrades. Team 1 could take an advantage and try to deny the upgrades if they notice. This is what they can see. They see where the comms are, but they're not moving. At least that's just what they see. Team 2's side of things, this is what they see. Not a lot of spy playing, but we do see 1 is inbound. Not a lot of intel gathering for Team 2, but looks like they're trying to remedy that as we speak. Nano repair started for Kinder to get his hit points back up into the green. T2 gunships inbound. Don't think they'll get too far back home from Team 1's those Wi-Fis. And we do see in the east a little bit of an interceptor and ASF war or a skirmish between both of the... Oh, is there an ASF? No, it's just interceptor. I thought there was an ASF in there. No, T3 air has been started for Wi-Fi. So 2 air players for Team 1. Anybody else in the air game? No. Team 2, T3, and looks like it's just 1. So 2v1 in the airing for Team 1. A little bit of an advantage there. Nano versus Nano. It's Seraphim versus UEF, so better regen capabilities on board the comm for Team 1, but the upgrade is almost done for Zixter, so there is that at least at a bare minimum. Sensors have been started by Fong. He looks like he went for shield. Yep, shield is done on board, so he has 8,000 additional hit points to play. And, a little bit of lag there. Zerby pushing in with the Nano and T2 and gun comm. Again, being a little bit more aggressive now with that upgrade completed. Definitely still has to be careful, but he's a little bit more... Where was that shot going? It completely missed the PD for whatever reason. Overcharge kills off the shield emplacement. Nice move there. That way he can continue shooting at with no issue. And he deals with it nice and easily. Advanced range started for Team 2's Fong. We do see this is what Team 2 can see on that eastern side. A little bit in front of where Zerby's comm is, but we do see Zerby is pushing in as we speak. Team 1's not looking super strong on this eastern front. I feel like Team 1's Motsmoy might need to head more in the east direction, maybe intercept. He is getting a couple of wall sections to curtail movement and whatnot, but I don't think that's going to help too much because Team 2 is kind of just going this route for the most part. And they are still down here. Team 2 not able to establish a position in that Trimex there. but they have solidified some control of the middle of the map. Kinder now facing off against RNA's comm, and he has gun nano versus gun T2 and missile. Maybe a possible snipe on the comm and a little bit of bombing, going after those engineers, trying to deal with them. T2 PD is going to be focused down here shortly. Shielding is going to try to be built, and it should be built here shortly. Yep, there it is. It's down. Never mind. And Kinder's not going to have a position to fall back to, unfortunately for him. Advanced range started for Team 1's Rokum, and Zerby pushing him with a nice little Asylum assistance. We do see a couple of those Obsidians, very, very strong unit, but of course, with a lot of shots, eventually everything will die. The Asylum gets just one tap by that Obsidian. And Team 2, we are seeing some momentum now shifting in Team 2's direction on the western side. Same thing on the eastern side, and kind of the same thing down the middle. It's kind of stalled a little bit, but we do see just constant movement for Team 1 on the... Sorry, Team 2 on almost every front, which for map control, not great, and for eco, definitely not helping things at all. But if Team 1 does invest in their main base mexes and next mexes near those and whatnot, they should be fine for now, but long term it's not good. By the way, those blazes kind of having some trouble hitting the PD, and the PD actually having some trouble hitting some of those blazes, so not great there. But he's going to raid and go after a couple of mexes on this northeastern side. I don't know how far into the main base he'll get, but he'll kill off some eco for Team 1's Rokum. We do see Zerby now back up to full HP and 3-star vet. Fong's over here back up into the green at advanced range, sensor package, and shield. And this again is what Team 2 can see on that eastern front. Definitely in view on both of those commanders from Team 1. They might see a target or two here shortly move into range. We do see Zigster pushing in, wiping out the exterior facilities for Team 1's Dorset. So pretty much everybody is in retreat in some regard. We do see Masmore moving in with that gun and nano comm, but again, Zerby has gun, nano, and T2 with 3-star vet. Masmori has 1-star vet, and Fong is nearby. And again, Team 2 can see him for a while. It's not like he's getting out of range anytime shortly. He has to essentially fall back to this position to really be out of range. And those blazes still wreaking havoc. They did get pretty close to the main base. There's still actually a decent amount of them, and there's some Obsidians mixed in as well. And a nice little missile launcher. So there's a lot of stuff mixed in here from Team 2's Fong. Definitely a nice little mix of forces here. The Ascendant is there as well, so for some AA flak and whatnot. And a couple of Furfurs have been spammed up to deal with these units. Gunship also online. Not going to be that helpful due to the flak cannon nearby. There are some Loyalists inbound with some EMP weapons to assist. That will definitely help out Team 1's eastern player of Rokum, but they are being out DPS for the most part, and those Obsidians just not having a fun time against those Loyalists. Loyalists are going to be dealt with here shortly. Lots of Furfur spam for Team 1. He almost killed off Zerby, to be fair, but I don't think that's going to happen a second time. Zixter and Team 2's RNA now kind of, for the most part, pushing together. So while Team 1's kind of facing some annoyances down the middle of the map from Kinder, we've seen RNA kind of shift his focus westward, and that might help push in a little bit more. We do see a couple of forces from some Titans from Team 2. Zixter did get past the front line, and eastern front we have Zerby and Fong continuing to just coalesce together. Zerby doesn't have a lot of forces online, is building a wall section for whatever reason, and he's moving along again that northeastern vector for the most part. Transport drops off nice little SACU from Wi-Fi, it looks like. Is that Wi-Fi? That is Wi-Fi's. It's a nice little Rambo preset. 40,000 shield plus 15,000 whole plating hit points. Total of 55,000. It's a lot of hit points to play with. Not super regen-y though, like the Cybran ones are. But hey, it's some regen, better than others. ARAS now started for Wi-Fi's comm, trying to get as much eco as possible out of his commander. And I will note, I'm not trying to jinx anybody, but nobody has died yet before 20 minutes, which is definitely nice to see. We don't see that in all of these bigger quantity games, but it is, again, nice to see from time to time. We do see Rokum's back up to almost full HP, advanced range, and speed online. So Aeon Sniper Commander online for him. And Fong went for Aeon Mini Tank Intelligence Commander with the sensor package on board. ARAS now started for Adam in the background. No additional T3 air headquarters for Team 2 as of yet. Not even a T2 one at most, which is A little bit rare, I think, but I guess it's not that far off. T3 air, and air grid spam has started for Ringo. There's a lot of posturing on the northeastern side. We do see ARAS is done for Adams Com, and Zixter still with his forces. Dorset trying to defend, and a gunship online now for Ringo, pushing in, at least trying to alleviate a little bit of that pressure. We do see mobile artillery spam online, or is that stationary artillery? No, that's mobile artillery. And it's bombarding the UEF position for Kinder. He's been forced to fall back. He's been pushed back twice now from this position here and now this position here. Team 2 is almost going to fully control the middle of the map, and in chess, you control the middle of the board and you pretty much control the game. Not entirely, but it's a higher percentage chance of winning, or at least a small higher percentage chance. Anyway, another SACU online for Team 1 in the Northeast. It is helping out. They have these very nice AoE weapons on board, and they really rip apart just the everything nearby. And Team 2 is forced to fall back due to the just amount of hit points that these things have. We do see Mossmore sending a force back, which essentially not forces Team 2 to fall back, but they need to deal with this or to get into more sensitive areas, and they need to deal with that sooner rather than later. And on the western side, things have kind of slowed down for Team 2, so all of that momentum has either stopped or has kind of started to invert, at least on the eastern side. We do see a lot of forces now inbound. Oh, those are Team 2's. Never mind. Rokem is over here with his SACs. Probably shouldn't be leading from the front, to be honest, because as much as those two SACs have tons of hit points at their disposal, having a comm there with a lot less hit points probably invokes a nice little easier target to go after. But Zerby's dropping hit points. Once again, he's down into about 50%. But again, 50% for a Cybern at this point is about 10,000. And if he goes for the, it's not Cybern, sorry, Seraphim. And if he goes for the advanced nano, it gives even more hit points. We do see Fong is nearby as well. Again, advanced. Whoa, nice little circle maneuver on that overcharge there. Overcharge still hitting those SACUs. They are dealing a chunk of damage to the shielding, but again, there's another one here. Team 1's Wi-Fi really trying to help out this eastern front as much as possible. He saw it was kind of starting to be penetrated and not a fun time for Team 1, so he sent some reinforcements, which has again helped in a decent way, to be honest. T2PD not coming online, trying to deal with these SACUs. And Zerby still leading from the front as much as he can. Missiles are inbound. There goes a... Ooh, Fong, don't stand next to that. Ooh. Fong drops into the red. Sub almost 3,000. Zerby's going to fall soon in the red. Both these commanders not doing well, but they're still alive for now. So there is that. SACU does go down. I think I saw some veterancy now for Fong. He's back up into the yellow. And Zerby, ooh, 500. Is he going to get out of range in time? For the second time in the game, he barely survives. He's at 104 hit points a second regen, and will probably build the advanced nano once he is back in a safe location. So second time he cheats death. Will he cheat death a third time? We'll just have to watch and see. We do see Dorset. Ooh, that's not really cast a curse because it was going to happen, but Zixter claims first blood of the match at 22 minutes. I think on the dot, or at least pretty darn close to it. Team 2 now is in the lead 6v5 at 22 minutes. Northeastern side again, Team 1 is doing a very good job of pushing back Team 2. Again, it was going the other way moments ago, but not going well on that front for Team 2. But on the western front, it's going very well. Now with Wi-Fi under control, again, it's going to take a minute. They're going to fully get his head wrapped around all of the nonsense. Team 3 land headquarters is going to be denied. Percy's and Titans mixed in. They are, of course, the killers of the high HP units, those Percys. And Fong, shield is all... Oh, is it back online? It is back online. And Rokem will be forced to retreat, just at least as of right now. Percy's continuing to engage. We have a gunship or two helping out. A couple of PD have been built and are continuing to be built, but it's just, I don't know how much this is going to help this. You know, the T3 land headquarters definitely is a rough thing to lose. Team 1, I think they only have one. They had one Seraphim player being Dorset. So if they lose all of the facilities, they'll lose access to Seraphim Tech. Unless they have an engineer stashed away, then there is that. But Fong, still not looking good. Dealing with these SACUs has been just an annoying process for... Ooh, that Absolver just gets absolved of its sins and gets it's denied by that sniper bot. And it looks like the forces from Team 2 have now been dealt with. So Team 1 will retain Seraphim technology. But that western side not really looking good for now. Again, the bombardment from Team 2's mobile artillery has been brutal. And Kinder has just been forced out of the middle. He has his main base and a couple of other mexes and a couple of other facilities, but really he's kind of lacking on the everything. But to be fair, he's not doing too bad for Eco, 113. We do see Rokum's at 64, but everybody else in the game is at least above that for the most part. Team 2 is still in the lead for Eco, 1.8 to 1.5, and still shots are being traded between Fung and Rokum. It just will not stop, can't stop, won't stop. We see a lot of even songs online, some T2 mobile artillery, T2 mobile missile launchers, PD being built from Team 2's Zerby. He's back up almost to full HP. Again, that's what that Nano is nicely known for the Seraphim. But again, probably might invest in the advanced Nano. I think he lost his T3 land headquarters though, so he's back down to T2, but he's getting back up to T3 here shortly. And Chicken online for Team 2. We do see an airfly happening nearby the Chicken's position. There is some flak, but Team 1 does win that fight by about maybe a dozen or so ASFs. That Chicken is inbound. And Kinder needs to start backing up because he is inbound for the comm. The comm is now in range of the Chicken's guns. And we might see the second kill of the game for Team 2. And there it is. Team 2 kills off Kinder at 24.5 minutes. It's now a 6v4 in Team 2's favor still. But this eastern side is just not looking good. Masmori has been building up momentum. Or at least the eastern side in general has been building up momentum, and it's really going to carve Team 2, not say in half, but it's not going to be fun for Zerby or Fong. Zerby's basically going to take some damage, but Fong moving in to counter the incoming aggression. We do see a crab is about to be finished. Hopefully it goes that way to deal with this. It's going to be built here shortly. I would assume that somebody's like, hey, Glimmo, send the crab east because we need it. And we'll see what way it goes. It's almost done. Team 2 trying to offer some defense and just kind of delay as much as possible. The crab is done. And we'll now deal with the Loyalists and the bricks inbound. Looks like it's about a not a legion of Loyalists, but it's definitely almost a brick wall of bricks. Brick wall of bricks. I feel like that's kind of redundant. Team 2's continuing to push with that Chicken. There is a nice little GC online now for Team 1's. That's Wi-Fi's. Chicken has no veterancy, but there is a lot of Autumn and Ilshi support. And there is a couple of Perseus mixed in as well. The Chicken will probably survive the initial engagement with the GC. It'll probably be focused on by more gunships from Team 1 here shortly. Oh. There we go. To get some veterancy as well to help assist. There also is an SACU trying to help out. And Spectre gunships coming and just blitz that thing down. So in terms of winning, Team 1 kills off an experimental from Team 2, and there's mass on their side of the map now, but Team 1 also did lose a GC, so there is that. And looks like they're pretty much done dealing with that attack from Team 2's combined RNA and Zictor's forces. But again, we see kind of this mixing of forces from Team 2. They're, for the most part, going along the same line. They are split for the most part, but they are kind of starting to, form a nice little triangle shape. And we do see another Chicken is done, and another Chicken is done for Team 2. We have a GC over here for Team 2's Adam. We have a Megalith online for Team 2's Glimmo. That's the one that helped defend the eastern half. And another GC and another GC. Team 1 and Team 2 fully in the experimental phase of the game in terms of land. Gunships, though, not doing great for hit points because those bouncers are really bouncing them away. And then even the whalers are being wailed away. Wailed away? Bounced away? They're wailing while they get bounced away. That's probably better. Northeastern front. We have some SACs. I don't know if they ran by or I don't know what they did. Maybe they got dropped off, but now they're wreaking havoc. Team 2 is like, hey, that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that. And takes Team 1's play out of their playbook. Kind of like what Team 2 should have done in last game, if you know what I'm talking about, with the stealing Team 1's move. Granted, Team 1 and Team 2 don't own moves. It's just they made a move and go, oh, that's a good idea. We should do that. And then they did that. In terms of Eco, we're up to 2K for Team 2 overall. Team 1 at 1.5. And partially, some of that is driven by the fact that Team 1's Eastern player, Rokum, just not doing well now. And those SACs, again, 40,000 shielding. They don't have a ton of regen like the Cybran ones do on board. Actually, that's their base hit points, not their shielding. But this base is gone for Team 1's Rokum. There's really nothing much left. Probably shouldn't stand next to a very volatile structure. Oh, he's moving it. Oh, he's not looking good. Oh, the volatile doesn't help. Lots of firepower. We have bricks, we have whalers, we have even songs, we have furfurers, we have everything being thrown at these, and they're still alive. And Welcome now moving out of range because, like, yeah, it's not going to be fun for him here shortly. Staying within range. But he probably shouldn't. He should have kept blocking back, but he's going to die here. Team 2 is going to claim another scalp at 28 minutes, almost on the dot. And there he goes. He wipes out the even songs nearby. And the remaining forces from Team 1 will deal with these. But their mission is done. The eastern side has been broken for the most part. And the half of the players for Team 1 are dead before 30 minutes. So not great for that eastern front. And again, map control, look at this. Team 2 is pretty much about there. I know the line's a little bit behind the actual front line, but it's not looking good for Team 1 for map control. So again, let me know down in the comments if you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it because, these we've watched almost halfway through the video, so there's that. So I really do appreciate it. I just do. And ARAS being built on RNA's comm to the middle there. And ASF's getting wiped out by Team 1. That is one thing that Team 1 is doing pretty well with, is the ASF count. I don't know what they'll do with all of them, especially with the land incursions that they're still suffering, which I feel like they should probably switch either more gunships or strap bombers or something, because it's just not going well for Team 2 on the land in any department for the most part. And in the east, we see the 2 GCs and the Megalith starting to push again. There's really not a lot from Team 1 up here, so that's going to be an easy just push on through. On the western side, Restoration Field coming online for RNA. It's a very interesting mix of upgrades. He has Missile, ARAS, and now Restoration. So, kind of a weird mix, but hey, if it works. GC pushing in, lots of tickle cannons now online. There is now a Megalith, and that GC's probably thinking better of it. He dealt with a nice little trebuchet, though, but it's going to be the end of that movement forward for Team 1. We do see Shield Heavy now started on board Fong's coming. He has now the Aeon Intelligence tank on that eastern front. And Nano Repair being switched out for the Missile. I was gonna say, it seems kind of weird to have the Restoration Field and not have the Nano, but, to each their own. Bug starting here for Team 1. Mass Fab farming now going here and here. Trying to increase that eco as fast as possible. Again, Wi-Fi has triple base. Well, double base with, again, the remnants over there on the west. And we see Mossboy with double base. Nobody has died on Team 2 yet at 30 minutes on the clock, so it's a good sign for Team 2, but again, it's not the end-all be-all. We've seen other games where it's flipped on its head, and Team 1 is, and again, in this scenario, in those other scenarios, have won, even with the massive deficit in comms. Left alive. We do see Advanced Nano has been started for RNA, so he is going to try to regen that chicken nearby. 285 is insane, by the way, for regen. Just absolutely. Ooh, is that from Team 1? No, it's from Team 2. There it is, outbound from Adam. It's the Apocalypse Nuke Launcher coming to say hi. Team 1 do have some SMDs in place, so there is that. There's a couple of them, in fact. There's one over here. The Nuke might get shot down. It is moving within range, I think, of that SMD next to that nope, it's over here, not next to the Omni. And should get shot down right now. There it is. Immediately shot down. And Team 2 is now forced to fall back due to the now... and FAF boy online. But the Megalith's like, okay, fine, I'll take the battle and deal with it. Tickle Cannon's almost in range. And we do see some AA helping to thin out Team 1's forces. We do see ASF's moving in, and they can steamroll Team 2. But again, you have to watch out for that, mobile AA nearby. Very lax on the defenders of there. Lots of SACU Rambo presets for Team 1. And the GCs have now engaged. It's 2 Megaliths versus 2 GCs and a Megalith. Megalith from this one should be focusing on that. Lots of SACUs mixed in, as well as a ton of bricks as well. And that GC laser really struggling to find a target. First Megalith is down. And second Megalith is gonna... Oh, well, yeah, it should be fine for Team 1. Hey, there's some reclaim for Team 1, so there's that. But eco situation 2.7 to 1.6. Team 2 might just drown Team 1 in mass at this point. reclaim does favor Team 1, but not by much. Not as much as I would think. And now Restoration Field online. Arne has 3 chickens. Just tons of hit points for those regen field nonsense. Shield heavy almost done on Fong's Comet in the east. Don't know if that's needed at this point, but at least he'll be somewhat more protected against any possible snipe attempts from Team 1. So there is that at least. Another Megalith's in range. That GC's going to die. 3 chickens going to just steamroll that Megalith. And Fat Boy is now deciding to go home because it forgot its wallet and needs to go home now because it saw the massive bank of hit points for Team 2. We do see Arne. Is he in range? He's not in range of any of the chickens. First chicken is down. First GC is down. 2 chickens remain. There is a Fat Boy also for Team 2. The Ion Storm not going to be friendly for Team 1 or for Team 2. Once the GC is dead, it's going to target whatever's nearby. And RNA is going to walk right through the Ion Storm. Probably not the best idea, but, you know, there is that. The Fat Boy is the target for Team 2's chickens. The shield is down, which means 2/3 of the hit points are already dead. And it will grab the Fat Boy. So there is that. There's a new one. So sacrifice 1 chicken for 1 Fat Boy. Maybe Team 2 likes that trade. I don't know. I think it's about the same, I think. There's another GC about to die, and it's just turning into a reclaim field for both teams to try to scoop as fast as possible. Currently sitting on the map, 300,000 and climbing. A decent portion here, but a huge portion right here. And Fat Boy is going to die here shortly. Pushed a little bit too far forward for Team 1's Wi-Fi, and that's not going to feel good. Masmori almost is done with a probably Megalith. Yep, Megalith done for him. And he is going to add another one, so 3 of them on that eastern side for him. Gunship still wailing on those Megaliths, and yeah, it is going to help a little bit. But now we see some, AA, another flak inbound. We have T2 gunships mixing. Probably should target this one. Now we have the AA now being targeted by the gunships from Team 1. Definitely a smart move there. ASFs are inbound. There are ASFs just waiting to engage, and those ASFs are going to get wiped out, to be fair, but again, there's a lot more AA coming to mix. We have, Flak from the Cyberns, we have Cougars, and we have Lightning Tanks from the Cybern, from the Aeon, from the UEF and the Seraphim. If I can actually talk for more than 2 seconds and not just fumble over my tongue and words and whatnot. Eastern side, GC online for Fong. Shield is now done. And what is he building? Oh, that's just an artillery piece. Another nuke outbound from Team 2's Adam. So focusing more on longer range tech. So we have artillery in the north there. And is that it in terms of... Oh, there's an AWSUP. Okay, so RNA. Unless you're going to blow up a whole bunch of stuff with 1 bomb with that AWSUP bomber, it's going to get annihilated by those ASFs. So you got to make it count. If he makes it count, go for it. But I just don't know if it's going to happen. We do see SMD is loaded twice over, so that nuke is going to be denied. But it was a nice attempt. Who knows? Maybe having trouble loaded or something. Who knows? Masmori finishes another experimental. It's another crap. Really pumping those things out. And he's not collected them together yet on the eastern front. I did see a bunch of P-gens, but I don't know what he's doing with all that power. No one man can have all that power. And then obviously we look at air grid and go, okay, you can have a little more power. Team 1, ooh, Scathis has been started for Team 1's Ringo. Again, everyone knows what I'm going to say now. Where is your shield? There's an SMD. There's that, and it's loaded. Hey, that's nice. It's kind of next to a P-gen, but, it's loaded. Where's the shielding? Where's the AA? Shielding primarily, because that Awas is going to come and go, oh, that's a nice little target, and blow that up. So probably not the best idea to leave that unshielded and unguarded. I guess it's guarded, but not shielded. We do see that bug is now online for him as well. God, it's not really doing a whole lot, to be honest, and I don't know if it'll do a whole lot. Team 2 is getting a lot of mobile AA online, which will not necessarily nullify the bug, but really drop its hit points down. This already will be the death of us. And they're just going for it. And Zerby's like, I'm gonna do it. Just gonna build the artillery. Nope. Explosion. That's SACU from Team 2's Adam running around. Don't know what they're doing, but they're having fun, whatever they're doing up to. We do see 3 Megaliths are inbound, shielding on the front line to protect some stuff. PD, and more PD being built by Team 2's Zerby to protect the artillery piece that he's really wanting to build. And Zerby is back talking to Fong, which is funny because he's, what, a couple of meters, half a kilometer away from the from Zerby's comp. We do see the bug is inbound for the Megas, and don't know where he's going because he just charged in and didn't really do anything. Chicken engaging the GC might engage the FAF board to the north a little bit there, and GC's not really having the range to deal with the Megas. All the shielding, all the PD is down, and Zerby really wants that artillery built, but I don't think he's going to get it. Tactical says Rokum and the GC is down, and Ion Storm is activated on top of the Megas from Team 2. That's a lot of dead stuff. 2 Megas soon to be dead. There is a satellite online for Team 1, so there is that to consider. Still, this thing is loading, or is trying to be built. Team 1 could easily engage, but they don't want to for whatever reason. Maybe they're trying to bait out an attack. And now as a bomber did go after the air grid and trying to hover bomb on top of the Scathus, and it doesn't get the payload, but the crash damage might kill it off anyways. Is he lucky enough? He is lucky enough to grab it. That is a denial of a Scathus. It was barely built, to be fair, so there is that, but he still denied it, so there is that. He probably would have maybe been more happy with denying the Novax that was built, but, you know, the air grid is pretty much gone, so there's that. Hey, it was one shot. Technically 2 shots, but, you know, 1 shot, 1 kill, so there's that at least. Shielding not done yet for Team 2. Probably will start that here shortly due to this Novax that's soon to be over top of Team 2's base. Artillery trying to be built. Oh, this is such a not a Hail Mary, just he's on the front line on the eastern side and he's building a T3 artillery. Like the even with the expect that, but there is a laser starter for Team 1's Masmori. Maybe he'll transition into cloaking or teleporter, one or the other. Those are pretty much the only options. Lots of SACU still running around. Again, really trying to do their best to augment those forces over there, but it's not really a whole lot. Team 2's Zixter really not pumping out a lot of units, to be honest with you. He is going for Fat Boys now, and Team 2 is now going for their own artillery over here for RNA. That one's a lot safer, you know, given the location of the other one. And Satellite focusing on the air grid. Looks like it wiped out a nice little mechs. Shielding is going to be built. Maybe it'll be built in time. The nuke was almost wiped out, but it wasn't, so there's that. Shielding is now online, protects that chunk of an air grid there. And artillery. The artillery is done. That is insane that got done. Team 1 should have just bulldozed this position, but decided to back off, and that might not be great. Is that... No, it's not shield. Well, it's kind of shielded, but not really. Donut online for Team 1. So we've seen the Donut, the Awasa, and the Bug. So all their experimentals have been seen in this game. Who knows? Maybe somebody will try to build an Atlantis or a Tempest somewhere. Probably not, given there's no water. But, you know, attempts could always try to be made. Satellite going after other exterior mixes. And I love this because if you noticed, the satellite targeted the mass fabs who have a nice little AoE, and then now that central mech is now half damaged, so now it's just another burst and it's wiped out. So it's a nice, you know, 1-2 punch there. Donut moving into the crabs, and there is AA. Not a lot now from Team 2, but there's still something. We do see Fat Boys now putting the pressure on. We have ASFs moving into assist. Lots of flak inbound. That's going to really rip those shielding right off the... you know, Donut's whole plating. Well, you can't rip shields off because they're not the whole plating. But you get my point. It's really ripping those hit points off. ASFs are going to make the... Oh, you got to pull them back, pull them back, pull them back. And nope. They get pulled back way too late. And Team 2 will again lose all of their ASFs. Again, Team 2 not doing well with the air, but they're doing well with pretty much everything else. To be honest with you, I have 1 artillery piece, 2 artillery pieces. Team 1 tried to go for a Scathus. It was denied. Looks like he's not going to try to build another one. Mass Fab Farm is down. That's another chunk of eco loss for Team 1. It's 2.8 to 2,000. Sorry, 1.9, not 2,000. Apologies there. Not looking good for Team 1 overall in terms of eco. More shielding. Looks like it needs to be done. Very segmented air grid down here. I like it because it's kind of hard to cascade, but, you know. Looks like it's just producing Corsairs for the most part. So possible snipe attempt maybe starting to be on the cards for Team 2. There's a lot of Corsairs, though, that really need to be built. Donut way over here to the western side. Nowhere near anything from Team 1 besides just some SACUs that are nearby. And yeah, it's not fun. That Donut's probably going to be targeted. But again, not a lot of ASFs have been built by Team 2 because they've been wiped out recently. So that a little bit more lenient for that. But still, Megalith, GC, 3, 4 FAF boys. It looks like Team 1. Nope, nobody did. We have Mossboy in his base. We have Wi-Fi running around his base. And then we have Team 1's Ringo over there in his base. So no one outside of their main bases. Team 2, I think they're pretty much in their main base. The shield does not come online yet because it needs to be fully regen first, wiping out a ton of Percy's. Not the Fat Boy, though, which you think would be the target. And then I think I jinxed that Fat Boy there. Apologies there. But the Donut, ooh, it will take out the shielding, I think. Almost take out, it takes out a chunk of it. But the Donut lands on Team 2's side of the map. Again, not really that useful, to be honest. Probably should have kept it near these Fat Boys, but that's just me. And Team 2's front line is being demolished. Counterattack is online for Team 1. But again, Team 2 is going for the longer range offense, going after all of the mass fabs, going after all of the P-gens, all of the, the infrastructure. And that's really hurting. We do see Zerby over here. A second Scathus has been started, and Team 2 found it. And that shield is being assisted, so 1 artillery is not going to be enough. And now 4 GCs acting as a nice little cushion for that artillery. Massmore being sent mass to try to load that Scathus as fast as possible. And 3, 4 Fat Boys plus 2 Megaliths plus 1 GC equals run away everything else from Team 2. Lots of long-range firepower, secondary long-range, and then tertiary long-range with the laser. Team 1 bombers on a collision course with maybe the Fat Boy, I would surmise. They're going to get chewed up on the way there, but some of them are going to make their payload locations, and it's not enough. But it did wipe out a lot of hit points, so, there's that. ASF's kind of being chewed up now from Team 1. Team 2 has ASFs here, and a couple of them here, I think, from RN. Oh, those are not those, never mind. But, there's something in the skies helping out. More shielding being built to protect, I think, some T2 artillery being built to deal with the incoming experimentals. And that eastern side that was weaker moments ago is now perfectly fine. Artillery not chewing through that mass fab farm location yet. Looks like more mexers are being rebuilt. Probably needs more shielding. It is being assisted, to be fair. But I think Team 2 is building more artillery. At least you would kind of... No, it's just chickens. Huh. You think there'd be more. Is that Novak still alive? That Novak is still alive. Where? That's over here to the west. Another SSU would die somewhere. Now the western side is being chewed up by Team 1, but T3 artillery landing close range. That Fat Boy does get some veterancy, and it will survive just a smidgen longer. Of course, there's inbound to wipe out said Fat Boy. That Fat Boy's gone. That second Fat Boy right there is going to be wiped out here shortly. That T2 artillery really helping out a little bit, but now the shielding is down. And, it almost hits a missiles inbound. Kills off the reclaim. It's a little unfortunate for Team 2. That shot going to miss just barely, and it might actually clip. Nope, not AoE enough. Another missile inbound doesn't wipe out the Fat Boy because it's already dead, but wipes out the reclaim, which maybe not as helpful, like I said, but it's something, I guess. He's just seconds late. Artillery lands direct impact onto the shield. Of course, there's inbound, really ripping apart all of these Fat Boys and whatnot. Shot does land and connects with that Fat Boy. So, hey, 1 out of 3. That's pretty good. Not great. That's not bad, considering artillery and accuracy and whatnot. We have a wave of more ASFs inbound. Team 2 really starting to come back in the air game. Team 1 did lose their air grid for a period of time. So it looks like the artillery now moving on to greener pastures, going after other targets. Again, the Novaks would be a nice target. The air grid would be a nice target. Looks like Team 2's eastern artillery targeting the western air grid, and a chunk of it already gone once again. And SSU's still pushing on the western front. They are not being stopped. GC getting close to the artillery piece for Team 2. The chicken will stop it, but it's not doing good for that GC to be all the way back there, though. Oh. Riley, auto parts. Nuke is inbound from Team 2. How is that thing not dead? The Zigster comes in, does some damage to the GC. Chicken turns around and goes, oh, sorry. I thought I killed him, but I did not. And now it looks like everything transferred over from Zigster to RNA. I don't know if he's going to leave or not, but He thinks that his stuff will be handled better in his hands. Zur at least kill anti-nuke, says Fong. Nuke is inbound to the eastern edge of them. Ooh. Looks like it's going to wipe out Massmoy's secondary facility up there. We have a GC here. 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 We have 4. Oh, it lands short. It goes after the Megas. Completely wipes out almost 1 megawatts HP and almost a second one as well. That's 70,000 DPS for that nuke for you. But the Megawatt, of course, has more than that. Starting at least. And artillery raining in on Ringo's position. Still not doing great, but he's better now. How's that Scathis doing? Oh, it's almost in the green. Team 1 might be able to come back with that. We've had, a decent amount of comebacks for Team 1 and Team 2. But we've had SSUs now being ripped apart by those GC lasers. And they can't really decide what they want to target. The SSUs or the Megawatt, and having a trouble time locking on, I guess. I think Team 1's going to win that fight, but there are 2 more GCs inbound, so maybe not. Western side has kind of died down in its aggression. Another artillery shell hits, the AoE plasma at least hits that Fat Boy. And it looks like somebody paused the game and then unpaused the game. Don't know what the... Oh, we're talking about Ringo. Ringo! Oh, Fusion goes down. He gets out of range of the explosion. He probably would have died, but with the air grid down for Team 1, no more air, and not great for Team 1, that's for sure. Satellite over top of RNA space, getting more shielding online. Looks like the mexes are the target of the aggression for said satellite. And Zixter is still in the game. We have gunship spam coming inbound from Team 2's via Adam. Or Adam? Again, still, it's Adam. I'm not going to try to pronounce that first part anymore. 6v3 still in favor for Team 2. After the death of, I think it was Kinder who ended up dying third. We've had no deaths yet for either side. Second satellite online. More shielding coming online to protect said satellites. Love to see it. Counter artillery online for Team 1 now. And is it? Nope, it's not done yet. So 45 minutes on the clock. Team 1 has some firepower coming in, but ooh, almost hits those P-gens. Are those actually technically exposed? They seem exposed. And it looks like Team 2 has found a target that they both want to eliminate sooner rather than later. Second artillery has been started a little bit further away from the first one, and he's really spamming everything in the kitchen sink to build it. Looks like Fong's building the shielding. I love the distribution of attacks. We have 1 building shielding and 1 building artillery. Gotta love it. And artillery still raining in. Shielding is being heavily assisted by those engineers, which is offering a nice little distraction, like, hey, come after me, hey, come after me kind of thing. And looks like the ground war is kind of shifted, at least in one way, for Team 2's favor. Lots of momentum no longer existing for Team 1, and the spam in the spearheads is real. Nuke is inbound. It's going northward again. It's trying to grab those megawatts. It might actually lead that megawatt, but there's a lot of bricks there that are not going to have a fun time. And we'll see if it might not grab it even, but it's going to clip a lot of those bricks, to be fair, if the bricks don't move within... Oh, it's not going to matter. I'm not going to move in time. Oh, they get the order, but it's way too late. And it does clip the megawatts. Wipes out almost all the hit points for 2 of them, and almost all of those bricks. I think it was enough for a brick house, I think. So 4 brick walls. Up to 71,000 mass killed. Again, the nuke average isn't super great, but it's eliminated a couple of the SMDs and almost killed off 4 megawatts. So there is that. Scathis fire raining on an RNA's position. That's unfortunate for him. Looks like he's building a second artillery. Shielding is down, assisted by the Scathis, of course. And first P-Gen is down, second P-Gen is down, and third P-Gen is down. The Hovatham not down yet because the reclaim efforts by RNA. Shield is back online. Very nice quick thinking there. P-Gen not dead. Does actually explode. That's a little unfortunate. Shielding not doing great. And I think the end of the artillery piece for Team 2's RNA is soon within sight. And he's going to be fine. Maybe, possibly, maybe. Oh, 1,100 hit points. That veterancy really helping out to keep that thing alive. And another shield online, another shield online. Ooh, his comm is unshielded now. Again, he does have advanced nano, so he has 52,000 hit points to play with, so he can take a couple of laser bursts and be completely fine, to be honest. Lots of movement in the middle of the map. Megawith mixed in with all of this yellow stuff from Team 2's It's a Me, Glummo. Northeastern side starting to regain the momentum over there, but Scathis is done getting a Megawith to assist, and of course the SMD being built and loaded heavily, heavily important. Don't want any rogue nukes from Team 2 to come say hi. I still think it's just an it's like an upside down spider. And Ringo makes a comment about something. There's a stealth field generator. They're trying to obfuscate the location, but Team 2 knows where it is. So, it's not going to help. But, an attempt has been made. So there's that. In the south, how did RNA face? Artillery still alive, and he does take a little bit of AoE from those artillery shells from the Scathos, but, it's not terrible. And artillery piece still online for Team 1's Wi-Fi. Again, still assisting the crap out of that shielding, though. And eastern side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 GCs. No movement really yet from them. Lots of AA facilities being built on that northeastern side, but looks like Team 2 is kind of more coalescing around the middle to the more western sides. 2 chickens inbound. There is a FAF boy with no shielding, so that's not good for the FAF boy, considering 2/3 roughly of its hit points is the shield. And the team, nope, they didn't lose that Novak. So where's that other Novaks? Oh, it's over here. Going after the nuke or something. But there's been shielding built from a while ago, so I don't know how much damage that is going to do. Shielding is now down once again for RNA. He's just not looking out with the amount of shielding, especially with Sarah from shielding. Oh, the satellites. The shield comes back online. This shield's going to come back online. And that is enough. The satellite was not in position, unfortunately, for Team 1 to take advantage. And now we have tons of restorers firing on all of the remaining ASFs from Team 1 and the ASFs from Team 2 doing a good job. Fat boys are being eviscerated by said bouncers by those restorers. And now second artillery piece online for Zerby. There's now 3 online. Still not targeting that. Looks like they broke the shielding enough to take out that Mats Fab form. Team 2 now doubling roughly Team 1's eco. 3K versus 1.5. Scathis shots are raining in on the air grid. And the Novax is helping out with the P-Gen destruction and whatnot. Looks like they may be targeting the nuke, which is 1 loaded. Probably should fire maybe 1 more before it gets blown up by the Scathis and Novax. Because it's now exposed. Might as well fire it. No? Gonna be like that? Okay, be like that. And then watch, he's going to fire within 20 seconds. So 50, 20, 50, 30. But we have that. Scath is still pumping out shots. And eastern side, no, the Apocalypse still fine for now. Western side, though, not looking good for land. We have 2 chickens and a Fat Boy pushing in. There's still 2 Fat Boys for Team 1, so they still have a little bit more artillery. But there's the Restorers trying to snipe the column of Wi-Fi. They killed off the Emissary, I think assisted by the artillery, to be fair. But Team 1 loses Wi-Fi to those Restorers, and I would assume some assistance from the artillery. And that's not good for Team 1. They lose another player. It's a 6v2 game. It is a 3-1 advantage. It was a 2-1. Now it's a 3-1. And soon, if Team 2 scores another kill, it'll be a 6-1. And it's just, it comes down to the land game and then artillery mixed in. I think Team 1 maybe pivoted to longer range a little bit later. They did try to build the Scathers over there, but it just didn't work. But 51 minutes now on the clock, and I don't know where it's going to rain at this point. They didn't kill off the artillery here. Somehow it's still alive. And Team 1's team recalls. They see the end in sight. The the chickens were on that western side. Again, they had a Scathus, but the ground game, we had 4 GCs over here. We have 4 GCs here. Another one over here. It was just going after reclaim and eco and whatnot. But eventually this eastern side would have been broken. Yes, Masmori has more mass, but again, Team 2 had about 3K, so almost closing in on that triple the amount of mass income as Team 1, and eventually Team 2 was just going to bury them in mass, whichever way you want to slice it. I don't know if Team 2 was planning anything other longer range. Somehow that artillery survived, no idea. And oh, look, a Maver was being built because why not? So so they were trying to plan something longer term, but looks like they didn't need it. Was there another? No, there wasn't another artillery being built, but that ends the game. 51 minutes on the clock, almost on the dot, but pretty darn close. Team Two's MVP. I mean, I gotta give the survivor of the match to Zerby because dang, that guy survived not one but two attempts on his life. And I do think though that Team One should have sent those megawatts in when they were going after that line of PD. There was really nothing that Team Two had to defend against that, so they could have easily wiped out maybe I'd say maybe up to here at a bare minimum entirely of Zerby's base, and then maybe even Fong's before it would have been stopped. And that is a chunk of territory for Team Two to lose, but it's just it wasn't in the cards, I guess, for Team One, and they didn't make the call. But that's just how the game goes sometimes. Thank you so much for watching at the very end of the video. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let YouTube know that YouTube should care about these videos, and I will see all of you in the next one.